Hello there everybody, this is Drunk Goomba 1645 and welcome back to more Let's Play The Last Remnant. Today we're going to be tackling the second half of this side quest. And this is why you will be needing the Rebellion Castle map 2, as we've collected at the end of the last video. Because navigation through this area, well actually no, you don't need that map in particular. So the map we kind of got was pretty useless. Also the freezing there, that was the game, not the recording software. So yeah, sorry about that, but that happens occasionally. And because of that, I actually saved my game, exited out, stopped the recording session, started anew, and I also turned down the settings for shadow effects and stuff like that in battle and also on the textures. Because like I said, shadows are not important. They really are not. I feel like I got a burp. Oh, there we go. I was about to say I couldn't get it out.
Come on out.
One thing I've kind of started to notice is that Mr. Dix has been failing to actually find stuff,
Awesome.
but still, he doesn't necessarily fail every time, but he's been failing more often. It's probably due to the fact that I'm playing on hard mode. He probably has a higher tendency to fail. Okay, next enemy we have here is a bandit. He is technically a rare enemy. You will be finding bandits that often throughout dungeons.
Come on.
So bandits, I'm not too sure. I think they pretty much hide in locations such as these to probably find some treasure and also go grave robbing and stuff like that. So basically, they're like grave robbers, but I don't know. I don't know what the bandit's intention is here, but we are not here to find out. We are here to actually defeat this freaking bandit. So the bandit, treat him like you would any other enemy and he will go down fairly easily. That is if you level up yourself long enough to actually do so. Also, the attack of the bandit is pretty strong. So keep this in mind and also try to keep a high morale. Obviously, if you have a higher morale, the less damage he'll actually deal to you. And also, he can only attack once, so no need to worry about him attacking multiple times. So if you have the ability to raise your morale, do it. Take that time and actually raise that morale as high as you possibly can. Whether you use an Attle or Bluff. Bluff is actually more effective because that raises your morale even more than Attle does, but still, Attle actually deals damage towards the enemy as it's raising your morale. But it doesn't obviously raise it as much as Bluff does.
Yeah, this is our big chance.
Time for another Omni Strike. Like I said, these special attacks don't happen very often, and no more backwards rush. Sorry. And we literally punched that guy in the freaking butt. And everyone is happy, and we get Restore 5 as our reward. And also a couple of stat boosting things, and some items, and a little bit of gold. Not very much, but hey, better than nothing, I always say. And it's better to actually get a little bit of stat increasements than having to get none at all. And we pretty much have reached the end of this dungeon. It's basically this room and what's behind door number 2. And also one more little itty bitty room. Nothing really much to go over. It's just a couple of enemies in here.
Let's do this.
And of course, I'm trying to get this guy into it, and I was like, oh my god, please, come on, come on, come on! There we go. I was kind of worried there. I was thinking I'd end up going into like some sort of enemy advantage kind of battle, and That would have really sucked. But hey, thankfully that didn't happen. At least not yet. Also, rare items. They're nice. Especially when you have a maxed out Mr. Diggs. He'll be finding them for days. Well, okay, no. He doesn't, but still. He is really useful. Okay, boss time. The enemy boss we have here is the Soldier in Black and his big monster friend. They are pretty annoying. I mean, they're not too bad to take down on their own, but as we will soon find out, they are not alone. Trust me. And their intentions of being here, they actually want to take over the city of Athlum for themselves, and they want us to open the front gate. But of course, being the heroes and the heroine that we are going to refuse, even if it means the soldier freaking dies. But still, a soldier at Athlum protects Athlum with their lives, and that's basically the gist of it. No matter what happens, we must stand firm, stay true, and just defend our country with honor. That's basically what we are doing here. So, it is time to defeat 3rd Committee Combat Squad. And as you can see, there are 2 giant birds at the very back of the arena. These birds are evil. They are so freaking evil and mean in so many ways. Well, actually no, it's more or less one way they are really evil, mean, and nasty. And you will soon find out why. Or more or less right now. When you first encounter these birds, they will cast Curse on you. And Curse, I'll go ahead and go over what that does. Or did I already go over it? I don't remember. But just in case you missed it, or I forgot to mention it, or if you skipped ahead, Curse, what it does, it inflicts this status ailment onto your union. And when your unit within your union is doing any sort of action whatsoever, whether it be standing by or doing an attack, they will actually have a chance of dying instantaneously. And it does happen quite a bit, and it's incredibly annoying because Curse has a very high tendency of insta-killing your soldiers. Even though you can cast Curse yourself via another attack that Rush knows right now at this moment, but the enemies, they can resist Curse for days. I'm not too sure, but I think Union leaders actually have a higher tendency to resist the effects of Curse and not be taken by the Curse, if you know what I mean. So basically what's happening now, I don't remember if I mentioned this or not again, but with Lord David down, we are now in a botch. I think we did mention it, or something, I don't remember. Again, memory stinks. Ugh, I hate mentioning it sometimes. It just plain stinks. So, if you're fighting the 3rd Committee Combat Squad alone, it's not too bad to actually take down. But when it comes to these evil birds getting involved, that's when things really go south. Especially if your union leader is down. Because then, everyone basically is fighting on their own, and sometimes they'll even just plain give up. And also when these Blackwing freaking birds actually have a high morale, they'll actually use several different abilities. One is Mama Well, which I think raises their AP significantly. And the other ability, which you just saw not too long ago, is Art Sap. What it does is just completely drains your AP. So any action that you were doing within the turn, if you don't have enough AP to actually use it, you won't be doing anything at all. So just thought I'd mention that right now. And with the Man of Well actually taking place, stronger attacks will actually be coming from these birds very shortly. Well, actually, no, they really don't have very much of the strong attacks, except for one that actually brings, onto the entire battlefield and just, it just ruins you. And now we're just botched, and it just looks like everyone is just plain giving up. And here's the other attack I was talking about. It's called White Breath. It just breathes ice onto the battlefield, and whatever unions they're targeting, they have a chance of actually hitting that particular union multiple times. And yeah, it just freezes whatever units it hits. And now it's time for some overkill, because everyone just plain gave up. Game freaking over. But I fought valiantly. That's all that matters. So, let's go ahead and readjust our party. And that's exactly what I did. So, instead of the whole brute force strategy of only 2 unions, I decided to split everyone up into 3 unions. Into 3 unions of 3. And we cut to this point right here, which is the point when things actually start to turn around. And also I have this boss down to flashing red, which means the boss is almost dead as we are attacking these birds. The reason why I cut to this point rather than the beginning of the battle is because I wanted to. And I wanted to cut to the point when I take down at least one of those birds, and I nearly killed the boss. And that's pretty much the gist of it. So the divide and conquer strategy does work rather nicely when you're taking on a large sum of enemy units and enemy unions, especially when they are in single groups like these freaking birds, which they are annoying. And if you have a chance to flank these birds, do it. I swear to God, you will not regret it. Because if you flank the enemy birds, you won't actually be inflicted with curse, which is really, really nice. So with that, the enemy boss is now defeated. And everyone lived happily ever after. So while the 2 birds were occupied, the first union attacked the boss itself. That was my strategy, and that's what I decided to go with. And to tell the truth, it paid off really, really nicely. That's all I have to say about it. It's just really, really nice. Now, let's get back to the conversation that Emma was actually going to give us before the side quest even began. So basically what Emma is saying here is that she saw someone head out into the world and do some training at this very spot right by the Valeria Heart, which is the heart of the city of Athlum, along with the Gay Bulg. But the Gay Bulg we need permission to actually use from the Duke of Senapole. So basically what Emma is asking us is, if in the event that something happens to her and she is unable to meet this certain someone, she wants us to meet her in her place. I wonder what that could mean. And who is this someone who she's referring to? That we shall soon find out. So now that this side quest is basically complete, we actually are going to be tackling one more side quest before this video ends. And let me tell you, the side quest is not very long or hard, depending on how you tackle it. Alright, let's get on with the information for this side quest. Basically, this side quest is that It takes place within the Gasoline Caves, which is the very first dungeon that you've actually entered in the entire game. However, when you accept the side quest, a new path will open up for you. I don't know why this path was never available to you anyway when you first entered the cave, but again, that's just the way the game works. The new path is actually like right at the entrance of the Gasoline Caves. Really, hence the reason why I'm showing this particular part of the trip. Somehow a new path has been completely forged and dug through within the Gasoline Caves, and we get to explore a new area. In this side quest, we're going to be doing an escort mission. Yay, escort missions. This guy pretty much has a theory, and this theory is that we can actually forge a trade route from the Great Sand Sea and Baltarossa through the Gasoline Caves to the city of Athlum. So basically, he wants us to scout with him, go through the entire cave, defeat whatever enemies we encounter, and just make sure everything is okay. However, this guy will actually not be able to help us in battle whatsoever, so that's pretty much up to us. Also, depending on what decisions you make here, you may or may not actually encounter enemies. You can encounter as many, I think, about say 5 or 10 particular battles, but if you choose all the right decisions, you won't even have to fight at all, so that's always good news. So if you're using this as a guide, great! Feel free to copy down the answers, so that way you don't have to fight any of the enemies here whatsoever, and you can just go through the entire cave. Also, you don't have to stay with this guy, you can just go right on ahead of him. And once you reach certain points, that's when the game actually triggers those cutscenes. So here, I decided to go ahead and leave him alone and let him go forward. But that was a bit of a mistake. So, with our stupid butts intact, we actually charge into battle and defeat the Yama Magus groups. There's usually 2 of them per battle, so again, they're not hard to take down. And it's a pretty good idea I even done this anyway, because at least I'll be able to show this off and what happens when you make a bad decision when you are going through the side quest. You just have to fight 2 or 3 of these guys, and they're not too hard to take down, unless they use a certain attack. And that attack I'm referring to is self-destruct. If they have enough AP, they will use it. And it is devastating. Because it can take out your entire... It can take out all unions within a single blow. And I mean the blast radius is incredibly huge. So, self-destruct equals almost instant game over. Unless you can somehow magically survive it. Okay, next spawn point is here. We have to make a decision either going towards the dead end or go forward ahead towards the right. You want to head left towards the dead end. The reason is because you'll avoid the enemy encounter, and you'll also gain a treasure and a dig spot. Excuse me. One thing I'm going to point out about dig spots, there are dig spots throughout this pathway, but there's no need to worry about him getting, there's no need to worry about that guy getting too far ahead of you while you're excavating and digging. Because when you're digging, he'll actually stop in place. And he'll basically just stay where he's at.
Okay, later.
I just repeated myself. Oh my god, I'm losing my mind.
Come on out.
I don't know if there's like any additional rewards that you get for actually doing this perfectly without encountering any enemies whatsoever, versus not actually, versus fighting every single enemy possible. I mean, if you fight every single enemy, that's fine, and that's good for you because you get the little you know, you get to gain some extra stats and some extra items.
Come on out.
But still, it's not always a good thing either.
Okay, later.
Especially when you're fighting large clusters of enemies. And if you're under-leveled, and you're fighting some high-leveled enemies, then you're going to be in trouble. Go on, I got your back. And we made a good decision here, because if we would have went forward, we would have had to fight a pretty large number of enemies up ahead. But thankfully, they were not there, and everything is okay. We get to move on. And also, we get one last treasure before leaving. And there we go. Side quest is basically complete. Now, to just simply exit. And that's that. We are now here at the entrance of the Great Sand Sea, and we are at the end of this video. So, I'm signing out now. This is Drunk Goomba 1645. Let's play The Last Remnant. Thank you guys so much for watching. And next time, one more side quest, and next hiatus, here we come. So, see you guys next time. Also, we will be back here again in a later date.